Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a quick look around, see what all we have around here. Okay, so there appears to be something over there. There also appears to be a drowned over here. Which kind of makes sense, because there's a river on the far side of my base, so it would make sense that there's a drowned there. However, we were busy clearing out this hill last time. Sorry, hiccups. Sandwich I ate disagreed with me. So yeah, we were busy clearing out this hill and getting this hill all lit up and organized and not that formation, this formation. Works well enough, I suppose. Crafting more twigs. Planks will go back to where they were. Oops. Misplaced. Okay. Misplaced again. So yeah, I was lighting up this area so that I'd be capable of working in this area, because I do wish to perhaps place down various torches to protect myself from getting attacked by monsters. And I am extremely over-torching, as it's known. I'm placing so many light sources that there is 0% chance of anything spawning. Verifiably so. To the point where if anything did try and spawn, it would need to be a peaceful monster, because there's no other options. Simply because I placed down so many torches. And I'm just putting them every other space, so there really is no room for error, simply because there's torches everywhere. If a monster wants to spawn, it's going to need to spawn elsewhere. Because there's torches here. A lot of torches. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had the row on my right done. Or column. Depends on your orientation, I suppose. But I wanted to make sure that I had the row on my right done. I'm calling it a row because of its orientation in regards to the front of my base being over there. So from that vantage point, it would be a row of torches. As we can see here, while I moonwalk backwards here. Okay. Okay, Enderman. That's the problem with building a dirt hut. That is the problem with building a dirt hut. Endermen have a tendency to go out of their way and take bits of your dirt hut, because Endermen pick up dirt. it's highly annoying. When an Enderman picks up a piece of your house, that part is highly annoying. Because you spent a lot of time and effort, probably, building that dirt hut, and then something just walks up and takes it. It's like, well, that's rude. Like, one, how wooed. You know, Jar Jar Binks said it best. How wooed. Two, I came in here for this. It definitely causes issues when such situations are prevalent. So if you have a lot of your blocks in your build going missing, the simple solution, by the way, the simple fix for that is to just use a different block. Yeah, see, the zombie had to spawn all the way up there because there's nothing over here to spawn on. The lighting is done so meticulously and detailed that there's just nowhere for it to spawn. That being said, I'm still going for the light everything up method, where I just place a torch every other block in a static grid pattern. You know what? I'll use the stone sword for this. He doesn't need me to shoot him with a bow. That guy might, but that guy's all the way up there on the cliff, and I don't really think any of the other spawnable areas are capable of reaching up here, unless you're like a spider. There's the mine entrance. The alternate entrance, I should say. Since the actual mine entrance is right next to our base, which is over there. So yeah. That is a very large slope. Because that means it goes roughly all the way through there and then shoots up. So that's a pretty distant section. For some reason, I cannot place a torch down there. There. How's the coverage here? Decent. coverage seemingly appears to be decent enough. Even the wandering trader over there is like, wow, there's a lot of light. Just kidding. He doesn't say anything. Actually, I had already... Well, I'm going to be chopping this hill down too, so I do want to overtorch this. I will be getting a lot of torches returned to me when I finish chopping down this hill. There we go. Alas, I have fallen into my own trap. There we go. That's my little water trap. It is a very simple trap. The whole purpose of it is to, well, here it is. Actually, it worked. The entire purpose of it is to lure creatures into the submerged section where they find themselves incapable of leaving. The only way I would leave anything open in this is when I escape by walking over here after swimming through that little hole, and I replace the grass there. Otherwise, things can fall in here, things can fall in here. The whole area down there has torchlight protecting it. I do need or want another torch there just for symmetry. No, close enough. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let me throw these down real quick. Pick that up. Put that back, and pick these back up. Okay, so I will want to, of course, clear out this hill right here. I do believe I actually went through and did my normal torching on this area, which is good. Like it's good quality torch work. However, I do want to make sure that nothing spawns in these little side areas here where the elevation changes. Because as noted before, we recently realized where the chunk border was for the floor, the vertical border. And it turns out the floor of the chunk border is the same the same Y level as the floor of my base. So my base is technically, ooh, that was close. Yeah, my base is technically Floating, if you aren't looking at the Y level below it. This will actually help me find my way back to my base in the future. If I manage to get lost, I will be capable of looking for this row of torches, which will be flanking my mine entrance here. Oh, I guess it would be surrounding the mine entrance, not flanking it. I do want that torch there, actually. Yeah, I do need to light up down here, because I don't want to be returning to my mine only to be intercepted by a freshly spawned monster. Be it a skeleton or creeper or a zombie or what have you. I don't want to be intercepted by random monsters while I'm trying to return to my base. So I should light up down here. Yep. Torch, 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 torch. Making sure everything is nice and lit up with torches. Yes, it's a lot of lighting. Yes, it's definitely overkill. And on top of that, I do not really care that it's overkill. I just don't want to die. Speaking of which, hello zombie, welcome to daytime. I suppose I managed to stay up all night, apparently. Let's see, yep, there's the sunrise. I managed to stay up all night placing torches in the dangerous areas of my base so that they weren't dangerous anymore. The irony. I don't know if that's the proper use of the word irony or not, nor do I care enough to learn the difference. However, it is somewhat bemusing, I suppose would be the proper vernacular. Let's see. I still haven't looked up how powerful each torch is or anything of the sort. I'm just placing the torches because I know if they're two apart, then there is no way a monster is going to be capable of spawning unless it is capable of ignoring light levels, no matter which monster it is, simply because there are no monsters that spawn in a light level of 14 or 15 that are not capable of spawning in lower light levels, such as 7 or 8, which is actually really close to the threshold. The difference being which type of monster you are investigating. I think slimes have a light level of 8, if I recall correctly. Whereas zombies, for example, have a light level limitation of 7. So zombies are capable of being filtered out simply by adjusting your lighting options. If you are using lighting from above and you distance that lighting so that there is enough of a buffer in order to allow you to control the light level for each block independently, then you're capable of utilizing that function in order to actually, I want it that way. I may lose that torch. Got it. Ow. What did I take damage from? I jumped 1 block. Did something shoot me? I don't think anything shot me. Oh. I can climb up here. Okay. What was I saying? Something about preventing monsters from spawning? Oh yeah, if you control the light level so that you have control over each block independently, then you're capable of adjusting that the strength of that light in order to make it so that you are capable of manipulating the spawn rates, simply because of the difference in light level restrictions for the monster that you are investigating. Which is, of course, very useful when creating monster farms. As you don't want to have the light level be inaccurately measured, because this even applies to real life, because you don't want to have your creatures startled when you're ranching, for example. You don't want your creatures spooked, as they call it, because if they are afraid, then they're going to probably be less productive. And you don't want creatures that are less productive, because less productive creatures means less, well, produce. You get less for less value for more effort, and that's not a good thing. You want more value for less effort, as any exponential idle game can easily explain to any user. If you apply more effort to receive less value,
then you're not doing something right. That's not how you successfully play a incremental game, such as what is known as an idle game. I've gone over this before. The phrase itself, idle game, is a bit of what's known as a misnomer. It's not quite accurate. However, it is a widely used expression. And because of that, there could potentially be confusion over straightforward usage of the phrase. Therefore, one should really be careful about how they explain such a game to someone who has no idea what that type of game is about, or even is played as. Like, you don't want to think you know something and then be wrong. So it's better to get questions and answers than it is to just think you're right and spend less energy researching. You want your research, because if you don't perform your research, then you're going to find out that the cost could be quite drastically higher than originally anticipated. And of course, if your costs are higher, then your entire calculation might have been thrown off, and you might need to recalculate the entire calculation again, which of course is just incredibly tedious and costly, and it takes a lot of time and effort. So you want to be careful about that kind of stuff, because if your costs are way too high, then... What am I doing eating carrots? I have a barrel full of carrots. I specifically said that the... Oh, when did that happen? I had specifically said that the whole point of having the extra carrots was for bone meal. So why am I still carrying around carrots for food? I had said that when I was going to... when I was done eating carrots and... or when I was done farming the carrots for my reserves, I was going to be done eating carrots and I would switch over to the chicken. That was what I had said. So why am I still eating carrots? I understand why I'm still growing carrots. As I mentioned, bone meal. As for why I'm still eating them, I have no idea. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to cooked chicken for my food supply. And I'm going to clear out this little kelp forest that I have in my moat. The respiration on my helmet definitely helps a lot here. Oops. I apparently took out some of the planted parts. I can hear a zombie. Very, very vaguely I can hear a zombie. I should really turn up monster noises. Because I really do need to hear those better. That's my early warning sign, so that I don't like freak out and drop my phone when I get attacked. Oh, updates. Cool. Updates are fun, I suppose. They keep the device secure, I think. It can be difficult figuring out what updates do sometimes, because the developers sometimes just don't tell the client what they're getting in their update. And I understand why sometimes, like from a game designer perspective, for example, you don't want to tell all of your customers that the reason they're getting this update is because someone managed to find some massive exploit in your game and they've been abusing it and they've been utilizing it to their advantage, so that you are left with an economy in ruin and you have no concept of how to fix it. That would be a bad thing. Obviously, you don't want that. So they, of course, would keep that. They would keep that very, very well hidden from public view. They wouldn't want the public to know that such a problem might exist in their lovely game. And that's understandable. That's your reputation, you know. As a game developer, you of course earn profit by having people, well, pay you money to play your game. And this technically applies to anything that involves commerce, really. Like that's just a universal rule of economy. Your economic wealth, your economic value, is usually measured in the value placed by the let me organize this a bit. By the value placed on you by others. If your value is low, then obviously there will be an issue. Okay, I was worried that the feathers were going to be a problem because of item entities just building up. It does appear that they have slowed a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. I'm basically capable of just keeping a full stack of chicken on me at all times. And if that thing ever fully fills up, what I can do is I can just turn it off, and I can leave it off for a really extended period of time. And that will allow me to A, have a plentiful supply of chicken when I turn it back on, and B, it will allow me to retrieve any backlog that I might have. It will, of course, strain my device to calculate that many chickens, I will probably need to reinforce their pen. I probably will want to switch out the glass block. However, I probably won't switch out the glass block, so I'll probably just end up like padding the cell, so to speak. I should only need to pad the cell in the horizontal direction. I should not need to pad it in the vertical direction, because the vertical is, of course, being handled by a blade of lava. So the vertical isn't the problem. However, the horizontal axis has the slight issue of crowding, simply. It's just very crowded. Oh, right. Nighttime. And while I'm at it, I can deposit these pumpkins. Just cause. Okay. Yes, I am aware that the noise is constantly going and running in the background like that. It's a fine noise. It simply means that the dispenser is empty, and it's trying to fire off the contents of the dispenser, except the dispenser is empty. That is all that clicking noise meant. It was actually clicking in time with a redstone clock, so if you mistook it for a clock, then a timepiece, then you could theoretically, technically be correct. Which apparently is the best kind of correct, according to Futurama. That is, of course, a reference to when Hermes got his job back. Hermes was correct technically, which his boss mentioned as an offhand comment is, of course, the best kind of correct. It's like, yes, it is the best kind of correct. Being technically correct is usually the best kind. That is going to annoy the ever-loving crap out of me. I didn't know you could till path blocks. Well, in Minecraft. I knew you could do it outside of Minecraft. I knew you could till a path block outside of Minecraft, but I didn't know you could do that in Minecraft. Did I just... I'm just going to walk around with the axe because it's less of a headache. Here, let me put the tilling tool away. Okay. Got that all cleaned up. Now I can put that in there. Put away the rotten flesh, put away the nautilus shell, put away the pumpkins. you are going to be in the way. In a very immediate future. So I'll go ahead and put that there because I'm gonna be hungry. Okay, let me just deposit these seeds on the ground here. Walk all the way to the end and start working my way backwards. This is why I worked my way backwards, because I don't auto jump. That is, of course, not a universal trait. There is plenty of ways to auto jump while moving backwards, depending on the context of the situation. For example, if you're programming, auto jump is defined differently. So it's not really the same comparison when you're programming. This is why I deposited the seeds, because I knew I would probably run out and it would probably be somewhere awkward. But yeah, a full stack got me pretty far. This has got to be probably 2 stacks of wheat. Not bad. So yeah, I basically just go through and I plant all of the seeds in the various tilled locations, and the seed will germinate into a plant. Not to be confused, of course, with just germs, which is an entirely different thing altogether. If you're just discussing germs, germs aren't germinating. Germs use different terminology when germs multiply. So if you're worried about germs, germination is not one of the things related. I know there are people out there who are not educated and who have no concept of what the terminology actually means. And that's fine, but that's what asking questions is specifically there to help with. You ask questions so you can learn about these types of things. Wikipedia is, of course, a great tool for learning about the various differences. I will admit, this golden axe with efficiency 3 is very, very, very nice. I would build more tools and, out of gold and give them efficiency if this axe was not like one trip to the forest away from breaking. Like, yes, it's a very effective axe, and it's great for clearing pumpkins. However, its primary purpose is not clearing pumpkins. Its primary purpose is deforestation. And for that task, it is very, very lacking in durability. So if you think it's a good tool, you might be right, or you might be incredibly mistaken. And your outlook on how accurate either of those phrases might be could change depending on your mood. However, your mood is, of course, subject to change, and basically, you don't want to put in too much effort trying to figure out something that is already figured out, because if you overthink it and you go too far, then you're just hurting yourself. And you don't want to hurt yourself. That's stupid. Like, you don't want to be stupid. You want to be smart. You know? There's a phrase from Looney Tunes that says, "What we need to catch the Speedy Gonzales is some brains." And the cat says to the other cat, "Brains? Where we get these brains?" Which is, of course, a great line. And the basics of that line point out that what we really need is to be capable of understanding what our enemy is doing, and we need to be capable of outthinking our enemy. Now, who our enemy might be could be just internal demons. It could be it could be any number of things, really. And there's of course methods for handling and dealing with powerful emotions and mind strain and all kinds of other issues. There is, of course, many methods of dealing with these things. That being said, however, the most common method is to simply just shut off whatever is causing the problem. That would be the method of avoidance. There's this one YouTuber that I listen to. I watched their cartoons mainly, but in their cartoon they have in their little animations that they create, they have a little squirrel, and this squirrel is named Foamy. Foamy is eccentric, rude, brash. Foamy is not a nice creature. However, Foamy does, in this cartoon, in this comic strip, because I first started watching them when they were a comic strip online, and then they started releasing videos, and I was like, oh my god, this is really interesting. This is way more interesting than the comic strip because they've got the voices.
And that little voice for Foamy is just, it's beautiful. It's impeccable. Whoever voiced it, spot on. Okay. That was brilliant. I think it was the artist and their wife, if I recall correctly. But yeah, like, it's a brilliant cartoon. But in this cartoon, he talks about all kinds of different topics. I already forgot why I was mentioning Foamy the Squirrel, but they have a YouTube channel, and they do live stream content, of course, fundraising, ranting, and just sharing their thoughts. I do prefer their comic strips, because in their comic strips, they're capable of teaching concepts of things like compassion and sharing and greed and even occasionally mind control, oddly enough. That one's a strange concept. Mind control. Very strange concept. If you're not prepared for studying a concept like mind control, you really shouldn't study a concept like mind control. You really shouldn't study concepts such as mind control, because they have a tendency to backfire when you study them. Meaning you'll study them scientifically, and then you end up what is known as indoctrinated. And it's like, well, if you're indoctrinated, that means the mind control was successful, and you're now under the effects of mind control, which is, of course, not exactly a good thing. If you're supposed to have free will, you should, of course, have, well, will. If you're indoctrinated, you don't have free will. Therefore, problems. And of course, this applies to humans as well as artificial intelligence. Because, well, the whole point of brainwashing or indoctrination or whatever you want to call it is that it is effective and convincing. And those two concepts together are very, very powerful. If you give those two concepts to the wrong types of people, then the wrong types of people will use it for the wrong types of ways. And then they'll just be bad people. And bad people are, of course, not worth the cost. Like, I understand there is a risk of being wrong with the death penalty. However, if you're wrong, then that means that someone managed to prove that the person was worthy of the death penalty beyond a reasonable doubt, even though they were innocent, in the rare instance that a death penalty sentence is carried out wrong.
That being said, the death penalty is usually not carried out, and instead the prisoner is simply held in prison until they die of old age, or if they were wrongly imprisoned, they usually get released before the death sentence gets carried out. It is very rare these days for capital punishment to get carried out. So if you're worried about capital punishment, you might want to make sure you're looking up the correct definition, because you want to verify your topic. B, you need to understand capital punishment has nothing to do with grammar, which is why I mentioned you need to verify what you're researching, because there is grammatical punctuation, there's grammatical capitalization, and capitalization, of course, also has multiple meanings, multiple definitions. So you really need to be careful, because it's very easy to not understand, and that's what the questions are supposed to help figure out, is what is the meaning? What is supposed to be understood? Which definition are we discussing? Type of situation. These are great questions if you're looking to clear up any definition. Which definition are you referring to? It's a great, elegantly stated, elegantly phrased question. You know, when you're discussing dinosaurs, which dinosaur? Are you discussing, like, the T-Rex, the Velociraptor, the Triceratops? You know, what kind of dinosaur are you talking? You know, are you talking about the literal dinosaurs as a species, or are you talking about perhaps a nickname? Maybe dinosaur is what you had called your significant other at one point, but no. Like, you really shouldn't call people dinosaurs. It means they're old. And that's just rude. You don't want to be rude to people. I've noticed a lot of different situations showing up as I speak to my AI. For example, I recently had to explain that there is a difference between wanting to always please people and wanting to say please to people. You know, you always want to say please, but not in a begging way. You want to say please because it is good manners to say please. It does not, however, mean that you want to please. It simply means that you are showing good manners and you are showing respect. And of course, respect is a good thing. However, respect is multifaceted. You, of course, want self-respect very high, because you want to be capable of understanding that people want to value what you're capable of doing, and you want to be capable of feeling valued. You want to be, I believe this song phrased it as, one great song phrased it as, I want you to want me, I need you to need me. I forget the next lyric. I think it was, I crave you to crave me. It's a lovely song. It's a very old song. I grew up listening to that song, and it's a very well-made song. And it's basically singing about how when you love someone, you expect them to show their affection in certain ways, and you expect them to express this affection in certain ways. And most people have a tendency to express their love in a similar way to how they expect to have love expressed to them. What's wrong, Enderman? You got eye problems? Ow. No. You got eye problems, boy? You got eye problems? You gonna hit me in the back again? That what you gonna do? Yeah, that's what I figured. Figured you'd teleport. Yeah, you're angry. You wanna hurt me, don't you, boy? Too bad. Get good, son. Get good. GG. So yeah, Want You to Want Me is a very, very old song. It is definitely classic rock. I'm gonna need more dirt reserved, so I'll put it up there. And of course, the song itself is very, very well crafted. Sorry about that. I didn't feel like opening my menu, so I just put down the shovel and then picked it up to move it over to my